Hello and welcome. Today we're going to dive into a beautiful message about a love that's designed to overflow. It comes from the very beginning of the book of Genesis, and it's a story all about receiving freely. It starts, maybe surprisingly, not with a no, but with a huge, generous yes.
Okay, so let's start right here. When you think of the story of the Garden of Eden, what's the first thing that usually comes to mind? For a lot of us, it's a rule, right? A prohibition. But the very first command God gives to humanity, well, it isn't a restriction at all. It's this profound, generous, and completely overwhelming invitation.
The world God first created for us wasn't built on the idea of limits or scarcity. Actually, the defining feature of this original creation, as we see in Genesis, was this spectacular, overflowing abundance. It all starts with water, which, is the source of all life. There's a single, powerful river flowing out of Eden, but it doesn't stop there. It actually splits into 4 huge rivers that water the entire known world. And this gives us such a beautiful picture of a core idea. God's blessing isn't meant to be held back. It's designed to flow out and nourish everything. And it wasn't just water. The land itself was just packed with incredible resources. The text actually mentions the very best gold, precious resins, and valuable stones. Basically, everything you would need for civilization and culture to really flourish was provided from the very beginning. It's a sign of just immense provision. And then, of course, there's the food. That invitation to eat freely. Well, in the original Hebrew, it's even more powerful than it sounds. The word for eat is literally repeated to add emphasis, so the sense of it is something like, eat and eat to your heart's content. There was absolutely no need to hold back, because the bounty was endless, and it was meant to be completely enjoyed.
So you have this world of just overwhelming yes. So why was there this one single no? It's so easy to see it as some kind of trap or a test. But what if we look at it another way? What if this one choice was the very thing that made a real, genuine relationship of love and trust possible in the first place?
Now, here is something that's just fascinating. In the original language, that phrase, eat freely, uses a repeated verb to show just how much God means it. And then, the phrase surely die uses the exact same grammatical structure. It's this brilliant way of showing the two sides of a real relationship, the incredible generosity of the gift and the profound seriousness of the choice to trust the one who gives it. Well, as the story continues, humanity uses that incredible freedom to turn away from the source of all these gifts. And that choice, it introduces a deep brokenness into the world and, into the human heart. And the immediate results are these emotions that I think we can all recognize in our own lives. That sinking feeling of shame or feeling like we're not enough. The heaviness of guilt. And maybe the most painful one of all, that feeling of being separated from our purpose, from each other, and from our truest selves.
And this leaves us with a question that just echoes through our own lives, doesn't it? Especially when we feel lost or stressed out. Is there any way back? Can we find our way back to that feeling of connection where life feels full of goodness and love instead of feeling empty?
But here's the beautiful thing. The story doesn't end in separation. Not even close. The promise of that overflowing life finds its ultimate answer in the person of Jesus, who offers to restore what was lost and to quench that deep thirst we all feel in a brand new, deeply personal way. Do you hear the echo of Eden in these words? That single river that flowed out to bless the whole world is now promised as a new river, a river of living water that flows from right inside the heart of anyone who believes. Jesus also talks about a different kind of nourishment. You know that hunger we can sometimes feel even when our stomachs are full? That deep human hunger for meaning, for purpose, for a love that doesn't fade. He calls it a food that lasts forever. So here's the crucial point, the heart of it all. That ancient invitation to live in a world of overflowing abundance, it's not a lost story from the past. It's an invitation that is being offered to us again right here and right now. So, when Jesus says, anyone who is thirsty, let them come to me and drink, he's using such a simple, beautiful picture for faith. It's not about working harder or earning something. It's simply about receiving, just accepting the gift of love and forgiveness that is being held out to us. And this is where it all connects. Through this simple act of receiving, that same overflowing life that began in a garden can now spring up as a source of love and joy and peace right inside our own hearts. And so we come full circle, right back to this incredible invitation. But now, hopefully, we can see it not just as some ancient command, but as a living, personal offer from God to you. It's an offer of abundant life and overflowing love just waiting for one simple thing: to be received.